Good afternoon, everybody. We'd like to welcome you to another session of the Family Health Show, Season 2, Fearfully and Wonderfully Made, Know Your Body. On this afternoon, we on here with myself, Brent Hart from South Africa, representing True Temperate International, otherwise known as TTI, the Family Health Show. And I'm joined this afternoon by my host, Edgar Wallace. Good afternoon, Edgar. How are you?
Hi, how are you doing?
Very well this side. Thank you, Edgar.
Saying hello to all the viewers. Thank you that you could be here this afternoon. We have an excellent show for you today, and we're hoping that you will be involved and that we will interact as we look at an interesting topic. We want to welcome all those from the different places, whether in Africa or in Australia or in America. All are welcome as we carry on looking at our bodies and health in general on TTI. So we will start with what we normally do and go through the promos and so on. So I'm going to let Brent carry on with that, and we'll do it together. So go ahead, Brent. Oh, let me say something. So today is Let's Talk, and we're going to look at a topic on health with regards to veganism, vegetarianism, but also disease and health in general. So we're going to look at that, and we want you to be part of it. It's not just a discussion where me and Brent are just going to talk and everybody just listen and that's how it's going to be. No, we want your input. So after we've done all the promos, we've done the disclaimers and so on, we're going to start, and I'm going to bring the topic to you and see what you think. Next one.
Yes, thank you, Edgar.
No problem.
Someone's commenting on the Edgar. Must be that
yeah,
smile of yours. So, yes, as Edgar's mentioned, this afternoon it's an open mic. So we'd like to keep it interactive, and you know, we appreciate everyone's input. There'll be questions as we go along. So it's not saving the questions till the end today. It's going to be interactive all the way through. So the floor will be open. So if anyone wants to comment or give any testimonies or give me their opinions, then we're going to be welcoming that throughout the show. So we can just do the disclaimer. So only a physician can diagnose, treat, and prescribe for illness or disease. Any information disclosed or discussed at the TTI Zoom talk show is for educational and informational purposes only. Please continue to seek professional medical advice from a general practitioner regarding any illnesses or disease you may be suffering from. So from our side, this is just information advice and not diagnosing any disease. Edgar, if you can just run through the different groups for us.
Yeah, no problem. So we have 3 groups that are continuously running. We have a spiritual health group, which we run on Friday, and we have Telegram, the 3 Telegram groups that are running continuously. The spiritual group, if you've got any devotions or anything you want to share within the groups, you can do that. We also have a regular Friday night meeting where we tackle the Bible and go deep into things of a spiritual nature, and that's something that you can tap into if you want to join the spiritual health group. Plus, you have something that you can put on your phone and you can keep up to date with what's happening, and also put things on there that you would like as well. We have 2 groups, other groups, which is the men's group and the women's group. Again, to do similar things, they can share things about health, encouragement, and things like that that you can tap into, get advice and encouragement. So if you've not joined, please join and see what you can get by being part of these groups.
Brilliant. Thank you, Edgar.
No problem.
So we'd just like to mention the up-and-coming event, which is taking place in Wales at Cefn Lee Resort. It's titled Come Apart and Rest a While. And there's a brilliant lineup over there with regards to speakers and presenters, namely Andrew Crawford, Alvin McQueen, who is versed on his various cookery classes and so on. There's Lucille Farfield, Joanne Daniel, Dr. Conrad Vine, Jackie Brown, medical missionary from Scotland, and then Pastor Sam Davis, who I'm sure a few of you know. So what will be taking place throughout this event are various workshops touching on your mind and disease. There's various detox and therapy programs, cooking demonstrations, assessing your body chemistry, so you know how that's affecting your health, how to set up sanitariums. So you know that's something that can be done from a room in your home, and that can be then branched out to a fully fledged sanitarium. So that's going to be wonderful advice. Herbs in practice. So you know, while we walking around the country, can we identify herbs that are given to us by God, that are in nature? So how to utilize those herbs. Also then country living, something that's widely spoken about, especially in today's times. And then physiotherapy and health checks will be done at that event. The residential prices are from £150 per person, and there's a £50 non-refundable deposit to secure your place. And there will be plant-based meals available at additional cost at the facility. And you can just go online and Google Cefn Lee. Bookings are from the details at the bottom there. So that's going to be a brilliant event coming up in Wales.
Yeah, can I just add to that just for a moment? You're just going to put it back, Brent. Previously, we were not doing. You would have to book the whole thing, the whole week, but we're now opening it up. So if anybody's interested, or because of work commitments, you're not able to do the full week, you now can book for the weekend or book to come on a Thursday. Now, a lot of accommodation has been booked up already, but we still have some accommodation left. So if you're thinking about it, I would strike now while the iron's hot. Make a booking. The bookings are booked with your deposit. I think it's going to be a wonderful week, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and it's a lovely time of the year for that too. So, you know, good. Then we've got. There we go. And we've got. It's time to quit. So it's a 6-day residential program designed around quitting smoking, but it's also a general program that also benefits those who don't smoke. So if they just like to help with their lifestyle changes, addressing any diseases through natural methods, then you know this program is also for you. So it's for everyone, but specifically for quitting smoking. And it's a time where there's support via health presentations are going to be run during this program. Natural plant-based meals will be given. There'll be a lot information given around juicing, daily exercise, and then learning to look after your lungs and liver in general. So liver detoxing, general detoxing of the liver. Morning and evening devotion will be taking place, and then also cookery presentations. Then it will be led out via two wonderful medical missionaries, Kahila Bailey and then Lewis Reed will be leading this out for us. And then the dates will be between the 16th and the 22nd of May, up in the Scottish Highlands. So that really sounds wonderful. We have Louise wanting to add over there, so please come in there, Louise.
Hi, Brent. Hi, everyone. Very quickly, Brent, this one's been put on hold.
Okay.
At the moment, because of some reasons, but this will be done in the future. But currently, it's on hold, but it will be put out again. Okay,
I see. So it will be taking place, but not at those dates.
That's been postponed at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, just then keep us informed, Louise. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay. I would like to just thank everybody for all their support for coming on the program, their financial support, their prayers, them just supporting us as a team, as TTI. We want to get the message across to everybody that health is really, really important. Now, if you do have a financial contribution to help us, if you look down on the poster, it gives you our sort code and our bank. And if you think that this is something that you would like more people to hear the message or to be involved in, donations are welcome. There's more things that we're trying to improve and develop, and we've been supporting people in Manchester with a medical missionary course, which is ongoing. We want to also work on doing some things in our area, and we also do other ministries like helping the homeless. So yes, if you can give us a financial donation, that will be wonderful. If you can't, that's fine. If you pray for us, because prayer is powerful. And thank you very much for supporting us.
Brilliant. Thanks, Edgar. I'm sharing there now. Okay, brilliant. So, yes, so as Edgar mentioned, we want to keep today interactive, and we're going to be discussing two sort of topics today, mainly around health and veganism and vegetarianism as a lifestyle, as a way of life. And then secondly, we're going to be discussing health and disease, and why are God's people still becoming sick? Why are people still getting sick, even though they are sort of following God's way or God's design? And I can just talk from my own life. Previously, I was a meat eater, so going back about 10 years, growing up in South Africa, meat is freely available here. And I used to consume a lot of meat. And about 10 years ago, I embraced firstly a vegetarian lifestyle, and then moving on to more veganism, so avoiding all dairy, obviously avoiding a lot of processed foods, carbonated drinks, all that type of thing. And what I could immediately see was a improvement with regards to my energy. My energy level, just went up. I wasn't getting sick as much. Previously, I was getting quite ill, a lot of flus and that. And when I embraced this type of lifestyle and this type of diet, I got sick less, and my recovery was a lot quicker. So if I do get sick now, I don't take any pharmaceutical medication, treat myself naturally, and my recovery is a lot better than it used to be. And also I found after exercise, my muscle recovery is also a lot quicker. And what I also significantly noticed was my allergies disappeared when I started cutting out, especially the likes of dairy and a lot of processed foods and so on, and also to encourage to follow the New Start program. So our 8 health laws, which is your nutrition, exercise, water, sunshine. A very important one is temperance. So how are we looking at things in life? Are we temperate in the things that we are doing, watching, that type of thing? Air, getting out outside into nature. Rest, and then there's also importantly trusting God. So following the 8 health laws, along with a wholesome and healthy diet, I found a big difference there. Edgar, I'm sure you can agree.
Yes, definitely. But I want to go to the first thing, and that was the vegetarianism and veganism. Now, I don't know, maybe it's just me. You tell me if it's different. But I see a lot more shops promoting these things. I'm talking about food shops. When I go into like Asda or Morrison's or some of the main stores, they have a wealth of products of non-dairy foods and substitute meats and things like that. And I think it's it's very much on the up, getting a lot of promotions. What do you think?
Yes, I was in the UK for 5 years. I've been back in South Africa now for 2 years, and yet the UK has got a bigger range of veganism and vegetarian, vegan and vegetarian products. And it's definitely becoming more popular. Back in the day, it was popular to smoke and drink, Edgar, and today it's more popular to be healthy. So yeah, veganism has taken off. A lot of restaurants have adapted a vegan part to their menu and what have you. And I think it was one of the main food outlets, they added a vegan burger to their range, and it outsold the meat option. It became more popular.
Which one was that?
I forget which one it was. I think it could have been something like KFC. It was in the UK when I was over there. I remember it was.
Okay.
And there's also I think it was a Subway, which is the one that they started a vegan sausage roll, and it also did very well.
Okay.
Yes, I remember that.
And I think it's quite interesting because, like I say, some of these places, even when you think of like McDonald's,
yes,
which is, they sell a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And then you've even got Burger King.
Yes.
Burger King have produced a bean burger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then obviously McDonald's is definitely doing more of a vegetarian range now.
Yes.
And then when you put all these other things in the mix, take for example, at one time, I would say there was probably maybe.
Sorry, Edgar.
Yes.
Can you just be careful about naming names of fast food outlets, because remember we're going on YouTube. I'm getting advice. I'm getting advice from one of my brothers here.
Fair enough. Some of these stores, is that better? Some of these stores,
that's fine. Fast food.
They would have like maybe you could have like 2 different sets of milk, but now there's coconut milk, there's soya milk, there's oat milk, there's
almond
milk, there's there's loads, there's such a range. So there's this real push towards variety of these different things.
Yes.
And you can see the difference in them being sold. But my
Definitely.
question is, as God's people, why is it we don't have something like that?
Yes.
Why is
And
it you've got all these big companies that are doing this, and yet we believe that the health
yeah,
message is the right step forward, but
yeah,
yet we don't have anything?
yeah. And you know,
Can I propose the answer to that,
Yes,
Edgar?
go ahead. I want this program to be interactive. So if you have a comment or you
Yeah,
have a viewpoint, tell me where you're from, tell me who you are, and let's hear it.
I am Wayne. I'm from Nottingham Central.
All
Right.
right.
Okay. So my
Thank you
view
for
is
your
that,
comments.
right. My view in terms of that question is that, as the Bible says, without a vision, the people perish. And as a church, we've over the years have lost sight of the health message. And as a result, the world has caught on to what we actually have and actually taken it on board and commercialized it to the point whereby it is not something good for you, because all these majority of the products that are out there are actually not really that good. It's highly processed and it doesn't have much health benefits, and
That's interesting.
it has a different agenda to it. It is
That's
not
interesting.
something that is saying that, okay, it is going to be good for me in the long run. You have to look, for example, the soya products. We know that it's partially carcinogenic, and you have to be careful of it as well. And that's my view. The fact that we've lost sight of it, and the fact that we have not allowed the Holy Spirit to guide us in our decision making. And that is what is happening to the church as a whole.
Okay. Thank you for that comment. Very interesting comment. I'm just going to stop just for a moment, and I'm going to say, look, this program is not just about me and Brent talking. We want you to take part and be involved. If you have a comment, or you have a question, or you have a statement, please jump in. I'm just throwing out some ideas or statements that I want you to think about. I think it's very telling that we know so much about health, and yet we have very few health institutions. And dare I say that maybe what the brother was just saying is true, that the world has caught up and maybe in some cases actually taken over, but they're not actually doing it the right way. I don't know.
Uncle Edgar, could I also add that there's another problem that we find that is endemic within the church as a whole. The fact everything that we have that is good, whether our infirmaries or other things that we own, whether Kellogg's and so on, that we used to have, once again, we sold everything out.
Okay.
Thinking that, oh, we want to make a quick buck rather
Okay.
than look at the long term and what God has given us and the message that he's given us to take to the world.
Okay. Yes, thank you for that. Brent, would you just like to give a little bit of information on Kellogg's? Because you said Kellogg's, but could you enlighten everybody with who Kellogg's was and who, what he stood for?
Yeah, well, basically, Kellogg was one of the former Adventists that sort of pioneers back in the day, and he started a health message. And but the information that he gave out wasn't as beneficial as we would like to think. And didn't he end up putting together? I don't want to also say the wrong thing now, but yeah, the information Kellogg gave wasn't actually that sound in the end, or that much of a health message.
Okay, but it was very, very significant.
Yes, but we got a hand here. We got Louise.
Go ahead, Louise.
Mhm.
Hi, sorry. Thanks, Brent.
Can you come a bit closer to your microphone?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can hear you, but it's a bit low. But go ahead, go ahead.
I wanted to just comment on the brother who was on before with your wife, Sharon. Some of the things he said are really true. Some of the things he's saying is very, very true in terms of the commercializations of veganism or vegetarianism. I remember when COVID first started and we would go in the shop to get our normal stuff, you couldn't get it because it was off the shelves. Everybody was buying it. And I was like, what's happening in the store? Why are people not buying the meat products, the this, the that? Instead, they had switched even the plant-based milks. The shelves were near enough empty at times. But one of the things that I would say in terms of like the brother was saying about soya products and stuff like that, and a lot of it is processed. I agree with him to a degree. A lot of our so-called pretend meat products or meat replacement products are very, very highly processed. But if you get proper non-GMO soya and you're eating that in moderation, then you should not have a real problem with that. What we have to do is stay away from this, as the brother was saying, very highly processed. There's like, you've got mock duck, you've got chicken strips, you've got this, you've got that, and the list is endless. Yeah. And these are the things that we need to be very, very wary of. And instead of using those, and I'm not saying occasional use is a bad thing, occasional use, fine. But we need to, if we stick more to our legumes, our beans, our lentils, all those type of things, it will be much better on us on a holistic way instead of trying to replace the meat that we once ate with something that's been put together in the lab, so to speak.
Thank you for that comment, Louise. Yes, and I agree. I once listened to a health lecture that had a big influence on my life. And what he actually said was, if you want to per se get it right or have a better chance for better health, he said, stay close to nature. Stay close to nature, and whatever you're going to have it as natural as possible. I think there's a good rule of thumb in that.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. Yeah, Edgar. I mean, because you just don't know what's going into these processed vegan and vegetarian meals that you're getting out of the supermarkets. You know, it's gone through a factory, it's gone through a production line, and generally people are also heating those up potentially in microwaves when you've got plastic around them and what have you. So, you know, that's also defeating the object. And if it's done right, you know, you're going to be lowering your cholesterol levels. You're going to be assisting with lowering your blood pressure when it comes to.
So I'm going back to my question, the first question I was saying, and that is God's people, and even the world, because God's people, some of God's people are in the world. You know, God is calling. Why are so many people getting sick? Why are so many people getting sick? Now, I've heard somebody say about the message that we had. We've gone away from it, potentially eating things that is not good for us. But it must be more than that. Why are so many people getting sick? And is there something in the background why this is happening? That's what I want to know. And so I'm throwing it out. I'm throwing it out to everybody who's listening. Don't hold back. I want you to comment. I want you to tell me, how do you see it? Why are people and God's people getting so sick? That's the question. I'm going to pause for a moment to see if anybody would like to respond. Then if not, I'm going to carry on. But I'm just going to pause for a moment to give somebody else an opportunity, because I want you to take part in this discussion. It's not going to be long and drawn out.
There's a few comments in the chat, Edgar.
Okay, do you want to read some comments?
I'm in a quite a noisy environment, so it's probably. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So if I look in the chat, oh right, okay. I've been vegan. This is coming from one of our regular friends, Colin. I've been vegan stroke vegetarian for over 30 years. That's how long I've been the family crank. For those who are Seventh-day Adventists, we have been given this message for over 120 years. The rest of the world is just catching up and overtaking us. The forerunner of Alpro is Granos. This was a Seventh-day Adventist organization before it sold out. Someone else says, mercy, Colin, that is just it. We are always selling up and moving out. It shows we never valued what God has given us. And then Sonia says, I believe we are a set of stressed people.
Okay, so let's thank you for that, Sharon. Let's pick up on that. Let's pick up on the stress. Brent, do you think a lot of people are sick because of stress?
Yeah, obviously you've got work stress, you've got marital stress, you've got the stress due to people not following the 8 health laws, and you've more than likely also got stress due to poor diet, and being just touching on a few of the 8 health laws. But if you look at all of them, I think that adds to a lot of the reasons why people get stressed. Because I know for myself, if I am busy at work and I don't exercise and I don't take time out, I don't take time to spend time with God, then I get stressed. And another big factor is, what are we holding on to? Are we holding on to past experiences? Are we putting it all at the foot of the cross? And are we actually moving on in life? You know, what things are we holding on to? What unforgiveness are we harboring? Are we possibly not communicating correctly with others? So I think a lot of it is due to not following the 8 health laws, and especially a poor diet.
Okay, so let me keep going with that. Why are the 8 health laws so important? Why?
Well, the first one, which is the biggest one, is nutrition, which we're discussing today, and the second is exercise, which I think is a major health law that needs to be followed. Then there's water, which is also massive, where people are just too busy to even drink water during the day. That's and again, right. It's also what type of water are they drinking, because you get good and you get bad water, especially here in South Africa today. We've got a huge water problem. Sunshine, I mean, I got hugely affected when I was in the UK with regards to not supplementing on vitamin D. I got really sick from not supplementing, and then being temperate in everything we do. Are we overeating? Because you can be following the 8 health. You can be following the correct diet, but if you are overeating, it can also be bad for you. Overeating at the wrong times. So, and then also a big one is trusting God, because if we are asking God for something, do we have faith? And it goes back to the ABC of prayer, where we're asking, we're believing, but are we claiming it? Are we actually following through that?
I like that. I like that a lot. The ABC of prayer. Yeah. Are we asking? Are we claiming? Now I saw Sonia with a hand up. Sonia B. I've seen you, Gloria. I'm going to come back to you. Sonia B, where are you?
I'm here. Hi, sorry.
I cannot let you go by and not say something. You've got plenty to say. So I'm sorry, I can't let you get off. What is it you're going to say?
No, I had my hand out, but then I took it down because, of course,
That's okay. I saw your hand up. And
yeah.
I know you've got something to say.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I had my hand up, but I took it down because I know Brother Brent was going in the same direction that I wanted to say. So I'm just going to piggyback on what he just said just now.
No, you've got more to say. I'm sorry, I'm not letting you get off like that. Come on.
No, you're quite right about the stress. You know, we spoke about the food. You know, our food, though we eating plant-based food, how good or how clean are those plant-based foods for start? So we have the food, we have the chemical stresses. We touched on the emotional stresses, and of course the physical stresses. Now Brent mentioned about what are we holding on to? You know, when the 8 Laws of Health says trust in God, are we really trusting in Him? Are we laying all our burdens really at His feet? Because when we hold on to yesterday's stuff, it prevents that same good food you're trying to eat on a daily basis to be digested properly in the body.
That's right.
And of course, you know, the body, we need all that good nutrients for the organs to function at their best. Yeah. So once we stress for a long period of time, we know our digestive system is going to be messed up. So we're not going to get the goodness that we need in order to go through the stressful periods that we inevitably will face.
And it all starts there. Sorry, Sonia, doesn't it? It all starts there with our gut, doesn't it? Because everything.
Yes, it and so what it does as well. So we know we always on the show TTI we always talk about the gut and the microbiome, those microbes. Are we feeding the microbes? Are they able to then even help us to deal with that stress that we're facing? Because if they're not being fed with all the good fibers, they go dormant. And you know, we read the literature, you know, for our parents and grandparents and great, and it goes back into time, that the stresses of that day is far more now that we have to deal with. And I mentioned about the chemical stress. So what we put on our skin, and sometimes people don't really accept that what we put on our skin, the damage that can cause to those same microbes, to the body and how it functions. But you're still eating the plant-based foods. We're striving for that. And as the brother said in the chat, we've had that message for such a long time. And now the world has surpassed us. Yes. And so we're trying to catch up, but we still being sick. So it's a whole kind of category of things.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you very much. Gloria, you've got something to say? Where are you from? And tell me what you'd like to say.
From Fulham Church.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I am just talking about if you could say the eggs or the chicken or the eggs, which one you put first? As the brother and sister was mentioning about stress and things like that. But you got to look as well, the food that is eaten now with all the processed, and there's so much vegan, vegetarian processed foods. You know, it kind of puts you off. You think, all right, vegan this and everything else, but you've got to think of how they are making it. So it's very, very processed. And when you put that amount of process in the body, it becomes acid. So anything we overdo makes the body acid. And then this acid produces heat. Then people start getting pain in their joints because it's eating away all the oils, natural oils in their body and in the joints. The cells are knocking on each other, bruising, and everything is happening because of that acid. And that heat makes the body hot. And then inflammation, then infection, and then disease. So this is where it's coming from a long, long way, but it's going to boil down to one thing, and that is the acid producing heat, inflammation, and then infection. But that comes on gradually as we continue to do it.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for your comment.
And I'd also like to add there.
Yeah, sure.
You know, yes, so that we've got to be wary of the processed foods, but what we also got to be wary of is the natural foods, the fruit and veg, and a big issue is the pesticides.
Yeah, definitely.
I think because when I was in the UK, I was at one of the Kevin Lee retreats, and I was on one of those health monitoring machines that diagnose your body. And what came up over there was I had a high content of pesticides in my body from consuming a lot of fruit and vegetables, and I wasn't cleaning it correctly. I wasn't using something to try and eliminate those pesticides, and I had a excessive high amount of pesticides in my body. So and I'm not sure what advice the viewers can give on that today, but I believe if you take the apple cider vinegar, but it must have the mother in it. It must have that stamp with the mother, and you mix that. I think it's 30 of the vinegar with 70% water, and then you just get a spray bottle, spray that over your fruit and veg, give it about 5 to 10 minutes to soak, and then rinse that off. But not to rinse it off with tap water, because that's got chlorine in it. To rinse it off with distilled or filtered water.
Okay. And is that expensive? The
No, it's not too much. I think I remember in the UK I was paying about six quid for a jar of the apple cider vinegar, the mother. I think it was about that, and that lasted about I'm filling about 4 or 5 spray bottles, because the way you mix only 30%. So yeah, it's not too expensive for your health,
Okay, that's good. I'm just going to read a comment in the chat. It says, this is from Colin. It's actually very sad. We are told that the health message is the right hand of the gospel. The right hand of the gospel. The word salvation comes from the word salve, as I salve, which means, is that healing?
To heal.
To heal. Okay. To heal. Proverbially, as a corporate church, we were ahead of the game. We're off the bus, and we haven't bothered to get back on the next bus. Okay, so that's a comment.
In that, we got Colin's hand up.
Okay, Colin, have you got something you want to add to that? Go ahead.
Thank you, Edgar. I hope you can hear me okay.
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you. And I hope you kind of made sense of the last comment that I just made. I hope that was self-explanatory. It's just to address the question that you're asking about why do people of faith get sick? And by asking the question, people of faith, you're obviously then going into the spiritual realm. The realm of faith and faithfulness. And putting a link between the two. I have a dilemma. I have a problem sometimes when I turn on the TV station, for example, and there's a person who's just turned 100. And they ask them the question, what is your secret to your longevity?
Yeah, I hear it all the time.
And they say, oh, the secret for my longevity is a glass of wine every day, or, I go down the pub with my friends, or, I make sure I have my Sunday roast every Sunday.
Yeah.
And for obvious reasons, I struggle with that, particularly when it's put out there. You don't hear about the 30-year-old or 40-year-olds dying of alcoholism, etc.
Sure.
So you hear about these odd ones who do come through. The question of why do people of faith die, as far as I'm concerned, this is my view, is simply because this is a world of sin, and death is a consequence of sin. You can eat healthily and still die young. I've heard of very healthy people dying in their 20s, 30s. They've lived very healthy lives, and yet still they've died very young. Now, again, very few, almost as few as the 100-year-olds who are drinking a glass of wine every day, but it does happen. For me, the question, therefore, is not so much about even following 8 laws and expecting as a result to live forever as a result.
Sure.
Lord,
Sure,
I've done
sure.
my bit, I've followed the laws. Now you need to give me my pay by getting me to live on this earth forevermore.
Sure.
It doesn't work like that. The way that I personally see it, the wages of sin is death, but God's gift is life. So my question is, how much do you value life? How important is life to you? In a spiritual sense, in a faith sense, do you value life? How much emphasis do you place on life? Because at the end of the day, this is God's gift. Now, if you don't value life because you don't mind putting all kind of pollutants into your body, then what's the point of God giving you a gift of life and you don't value life?
Sure.
Therefore, with all the light that's been given to you, with all the education that you have, with all the understanding that you have life and live it abundantly. Have a respect for life. Because then when you're dealing with the subject of faith, if you have faith, come the time when God gives you this as a gift, you will value that gift that God wants to give to you. So these 8 laws and whatever understanding that you have of promoting life, hold on to it, espouse it, love life in all its dimensions as wholeheartedly and as holy and as wholesomely as possible. Because it's the attitude towards healthy living that will be a fulfilling of our faith. Not that we're going to necessarily live to 150 or whatever, but what attitude do we have here now whilst we have the opportunity to live healthily as well as holy lives?
Thank you. Thank you for your comment. Thank you very much. So, Brent, have you got any other comments?
Yes, I think just to add to what Colin just mentioned there, he touched on something quite significant, which is sin. So if you aren't walking righteously with your Maker, you're not going to have that confidence, and you're not going to be able to put everything at the foot of the cross, and you're going to be harboring certain things, and hence this is where we get these toxic thorn trees that develop in our brains, in our minds, in our hearts, that affect our soul, and you can actually poison your body from these toxins that our bodies give off. Because we're not actually centered and working correctly. So Colin's quite right. You can do that. You can follow the 8 health laws, but if you aren't actually living a righteous and walking a righteous path, then it doesn't help you any. Louise's hands up.
Yes, Louise, go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to
You're very low. Can you get closer or speak up?
I just wanted to give a thought. When we was in COVID for a whole year, I never caught COVID, even though I was interacting with people who had COVID. Okay, not purposely interacting. Okay, sometimes I did purposely because people were sick. But my point is, like about a year later after COVID, in the second year of COVID, I got COVID and I got it really bad. And one of the things people were saying, oh my gosh, she's a medical missionary. How on earth did she get COVID? And I just thought to myself, you know what? I am not going to comment to these people. I'm not going to let this. The fact is, the brother just came on and he said, we're living in a world of sin. And the fact is, yes, if we look after our bodies, we have a less chance of getting ill. But the point is, we are born in sin, shaped in iniquity, and we do get sick at times. And we do get sick sometimes if we are pushing the limits, sometimes coming into contact with people that are sick and we don't know. Sometimes we're like, as they used to call it, we could be frontline workers, whatever they call it now. All of these things have to be taken into consideration. So for people to think that just because you are people of faith, you will not get sick, then I really need to just bust their bubble a little bit, yeah? Because that is actually not 100% correct in that thinking. Yes, if you believe in God, and yes, if you there's lots of studies to show that people of faith, they recover quicker from operations and this and that and so forth. All that is very true, and I 100% agree with it. I've seen it in action myself. But we mustn't have this attitude that just because we are believers, that we shouldn't get sick or we shouldn't die or we're not going to die. Do you understand? We shouldn't have this attitude, because that is a very off-putting attitude. And the thing is, I've had lots of people who come to me who are far gone into many health issues. And I say to them, well, why did you not come up before? Why did you not try and contact us or contact someone with health who can work with you? And they said, well, I don't want no one to judge me. I don't want no one to judge that the fact that I'm a Christian, or the fact that I'm meant to be health aware, and now I'm sick. I don't want no one to judge me. Do you understand? And so I just want to ask everyone to take those things into consideration, and don't think just because you're a Christian or just because you are a health advocate, you will never get sick, because that's just not the way it works. Unfortunately, you would get less sick by following the laws of health. You would get less sick trusting in God and faith and everything, but it does not. You will not get sick and you will not die.
Sorry, I don't want to pry too deeply, Louise. Do you supplement?
Supplement with what?
Oh, various supplements.
What you mean when I was before I was
ill? Prior to falling sick of COVID, were you supplementing?
I was. I hardly take supplements. There are certain supplements that I do take, but I wasn't like very rigorous on like, I'm going to take this, I'm going to take that. I was using my flu bomb thing at times, at times I lapsed because, I took it for a period of time, then I'd have grace from it, as you're supposed to, backwards and forwards, and I did other things. Yes, it was a lot of it was the natural health remedies that got me back on my feet. It was that prayer. It definitely 100% was that. And we were able to do that because we practiced it anyway, and people came in and made suggestions and all sorts of things. But the point is, supplementing is a very, very important factor. Okay, a very important factor. But I want to ask my other thought is, like, there are some people who can't afford supplements. So then what do you do with them? You have to find a way around it in terms of supplementing. If you can't, supplement. Haven't got a problem with supplementing. I'm 100% with supplementing for periods of time. But for people who don't have supplements, I've been into countries where I've done mission work and they would never be able to afford supplements. So then you work with these individuals who can't do that, who can't do that.
I think I think maybe the more you lean into the Western countries where you're not getting organic food, where it's not as natural, then I think you need to look at decent supplements.
That's right.
But if you are in countries like Africa where the people are living off the land, then they're getting that wholesome, food and nutrients.
But saying that, when I was in Nigeria, in South Africa, all those type of places, I was so surprised at the many sicknesses that I saw in those countries. Jason laughed at me because when we went there for the first time in 2016 and I saw a McDonald's, I nearly screamed out of my chair. Do you understand what I'm saying? And he thought hilarious. And my daughter was with me and I said, there's a McDonald's. And she was like, we were like in shock. And it was like, we never thought that we would see that in those countries. But of course, shallow-minded, as some people might say, we learned a lot. There was a lot of diabetes out there. There was a lot of all sorts out there. And what we found was that people were not living off the land. Yeah, they were growing the food, but they were being sold. Yeah. I find that people who had a lot of health issues over there were eating a lot of bad foods. I'm going to call them bad foods, yeah? And a lot of raw foods was not put into the diets. The only thing we saw that is if I went into lifestyle centers or people who had been educated on raw or juicing or whatever. But a lot of the families that we were in contact with couldn't afford a juicer, couldn't afford a blender, afford lots of things. So then
Yeah.
what do we do? How do we work with these people to bring them up to scratch?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it?
So what did you do, Louise?
Well, we taught them that by maybe having less of this and more of this, it would be better for you. Because I remember one time we spent like 2 days getting to a part of a village in South Africa with Jason, and he was saying in his class that, because they were eating a lot of white rice, this, that, whatever. And I was thinking to myself, why is Jason not saying to them, stop eating your white rice, stop eating your this, stop eating your that, eat more this, eat more that? And I said to Jason afterwards, Jay, why did you not tell the people to stop eating this food? And he goes, because they can't afford anything different. So he said, so the way we educate them is to add this to their food, eat more raw, get your salads in, get your fruits in, get your vegetables in, do this in that way. And my whole mindset changed in terms of how to work with people and meet their needs where they were. When I went to Nigeria, it was the same thing. When I told them to eat more salads, they looked at me like, this girl's crazy, this English girl is crazy. Do you understand what I'm saying? But when we put it into practice and they started to see that exercising just for a couple of minutes every single day could drop your blood pressure. When they see that they can walk after they've ate to lower their sugar levels and all that type of stuff, they came back a day later, they were bringing people with them. Do you understand? They were like, come and listen to what this person is saying. Let's put this into practice. And we were dealing with people there whose blood pressure was like 200 and odd. Do you understand? Over 100 or whatever. I mean, you should be on death's door. But the next day, 2 days later, just by practicing simple, healthy lifestyle skills, their blood pressures were dropping slowly but surely. It's about education.
Okay.
Thanks for that. Very good.
Yeah. And if I can ask a question, eggs. So, you know, the big thing now with eggs, and whoever's consuming eggs on the show here now, you know, obviously that's not part of veganism, but even if you're vegetarian, you still love your fried egg or your boiled egg. And the big thing is today that the eggs are marketed that they're free range. Okay. And I'll ask the question then: are eggs actually free range that they're advertising in the supermarkets?
It's a good question. Is anybody in the audience that would like to make an answer on that question?
I would, but I'd get shot.
Well, we're here to learn, so go ahead, Louise.
You know, I have a few friends who, you know, there's people who say you shouldn't eat eggs because they're grown wrong and whatever, and that is 100% true. 100, in fact, 101% true. And they're fed all sorts of things. So, of course, eating eggs is not a good idea. So then my next question is, if your you have chickens that lay their own eggs, that are fed properly, that are not given pesticides, that are not whatever, is it okay then to eat eggs?
But I'll answer that question, can I, Louise? So when I was in the UK, I used to consume a few eggs, but I thought to myself, I'm not going to consume eggs out of certain establishments. I'm going to go into the countryside, and I drove around a lot, and I drove past, you know, you get these signs outside, like the farmhouses in the country, eggs for sale. So I went into this home, into the farmhouse, went into the kitchen, knocked on the back door, come in, and I walked in, and there was the farmer and his wife, and I asked about the eggs. They said, yeah, there they are, you know, so much they cost. And before I left, I just said to them, you know, well, you know, what do you feed your chickens? He says, no, they're free range. He says, but we feed them layers pellets. So I go, oh, okay. So what's layers pellets? No, we feed them these layers pellets that they lay more eggs. I said, okay, so where do you get your layers pellets from? They said the local agri sort of outlet. I said, okay, so what's in the layers pellets? They said, they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so the chickens were free range. They were pecking whatever in the dirt, but they were feeding them the layers pellets. And obviously, we don't know what's in those layers pellets. And if it's
Exactly.
from an, you know what I mean? So those
Exactly.
were
And I
free
hear
range
you.
eggs.
Yeah, exactly. And I hear you. I mean, I watched a documentary once where that guy who does the kitchen, that farm thing, he grows all his own vegetables and stuff. I can't remember what it is. It will come to me.
Hmm.
They went somewhere and this organization said they had free range eggs. And it was a massive unit, thousands of feet wide, big, whatever it was. And when he went in there, his eyes, his expression, his face said it all. He said, are these free range? Like that. And they said, oh yeah, they go out sometimes and they're out for a couple of hours every day and then they come. And the amount of chickens and hens or whatever it was that was in one of these massive buildings, he was just amazed. He was like, this is not free range. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Well, like barn range.
Say,
Barn range.
the question that I'm asking, and Ben made a very good point. You know, he went in, he asked about the eggs. They don't even know what they're feeding. They're feeding them these pellets. What are in the pellets? They don't know what's in the pellets. But my question is, what if you're having your own hens feeding on your food? You know what they're giving them, etc., etc., etc. Is it okay to eat eggs then? Because this is a lot of time people ask me this question. This is like a thought. People say, oh, I can grow my own chickens. I can eat my own eggs because I know what I give them. I don't give them antibiotics. I don't give them nothing rubbish. I don't give them pellets. So it's okay for me to eat my own eggs.
Okay.
How do we answer that question?
Yeah, it's a very...
Because then people will say, oh my gosh, the medical missionary said you can have eggs. Oh, smack, smack, smack. Do you understand? Because Ellen White says, oh, we should not eat eggs and blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
But if we read her comment carefully, we will see that she didn't actually say that. Do you understand what I'm saying? If we read her comments carefully, we will see that basically, if we are eating in today's society, because the way cattle, whatever, chickens, whatever is raised, we shouldn't be eating them.
No,
fish, we shouldn't be eating.
Yes.
Because of the toxicity, the chemical poisoning, etc.
The heavy metals.
My point is, yeah. So if it wasn't being fed, that would it then be okay?
Okay. I have another question for the audience and for yourself, maybe, Louise, because of your background. We obviously got to be concerned about our gut health and what have you. And you've got your friendly bacteria that needs to be in check, which is the best for your body to be running optimally. When it comes to these Bulgarian and say Greek yogurts that are sugar-free, is that acceptable? Obviously, if you're vegan, you wouldn't be going down that route. But say you're vegetarian and you don't really want to consume too much dairy, could you still be having this Bulgarian Greek yogurt to put back that friendly bacteria in your gut? Is it healthy?
I can't even answer that question because I don't even actually know what yogurt you're talking about. I don't actually know the yogurt you're talking about because I unfortunately I'm not a yogurt fan. So I can't really comment on that in terms of is it I mean, one of the old ladies I used to look after, she used to always buy, I think it's called Yakult. Yakult is meant to be a friendly stuff for the gut type of thing. But then it was made with all sorts of things that maybe I wasn't in 100% in agreement with. So in a sense, you're trying to solve one problem, but you're kind of
causing another.
Yeah, because of maybe some of the ingredients that is meant to be in a healthy quote. I put that in speech marks, please don't anyone kill me or slay me. In terms of what they call a healthy product. So then I always say the best thing to do is to stay on the narrow path, try and get something as natural as possible that's not going to interfere with the gut in a negative way. Mainly, that is mainly plant-based. Do you understand what I'm saying? The best sources are mainly plant-based. And people should do intelligent research, as Colin suggested, and see what's out there that's not being chemicalized and highly processed, because a lot of our foods are processed now. You know,
so what you're saying is you can have an alternative to the yogurt, plant-based, to create these friendly cultures and what have you in your gut.
So, no, I'm just saying, yes, have a look and see how that can be done. I mean, I haven't done enough research into that, but I know that if people want to be healthy, don't live with other people's information. Okay, hear what people say, but check and double check and do research for yourself so that you become intelligently informed.
Yes, no, that's a good bit of advice, definitely. Thank you. So anything from your side there, Edgar? You're on mute, Edgar.
I know that there's some questions from YouTube. I'm not able to look at it right now.
Okay.
I know there's some questions. I'm trying to get somebody to just double check that, and then I'll get back to that one. Okay. Right. So I want to move on a little bit. I have a question. Okay. Okay, right. The direction I want to go is health with regards to medicine or drugs. So we use a lot of people who get sick use medication. Now, some would say that it's necessary for them to get better. However, there's a conflict. I believe there's a conflict. Taking into consideration, we're saying the foundation that we need to be thinking and practicing is the health laws. It's like a foundation for a house. I don't believe anybody can say, okay, nutrition, exercise, water, sunshine, air, have I missed 10%? Rest,
yes,
and trust in God. Can anybody say any of those things are bad?
No.
I don't think so. So I'm saying
these
are, again?
The air could be polluted.
Okay, but
the water could be the wrong type of water.
Of course. No, obviously, you can choose wrong things within these laws of health. You know that's to me, that's something that's given. However, you can't stop breathing. You're not going to last very long without water. So the premise must be that you have to find the best that you can where you are. Okay. Now, people are getting sick for a lot of different reasons, and you know it is what it is. Whether you are whether you follow God or whether you don't follow God. So I'm going to just show you something very, very quickly. Just hang on. Just give me a moment. Let's see. Okay. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. So
maybe just go full screen. There we go.
Yeah. So the top 5 things that cause death. Okay. I've got heart disease as number 1. I don't know if there's anybody on the platform that can give me what number 2 is. Can anybody give me what number 2 is? Can anybody give me what number 2 is on the platform?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Suicide and poor mental health is up there.
Mental health. Okay, I'm going to go with number 2. Cancer. Cancer. Now remember, you've got many forms of cancer. Cancer is number 2. Number 3, stroke. Stroke. And obviously you've got different things that fit within stroke. Hypertension, burst arteries and different things like that.
Diet, yes.
Cholesterol. Number 4, lung disease. And then number 5, liver disease. Now, there's lots and lots of different, there's a multiple of diseases, isn't there? If I ask you, Brent, to name me 5 more, I'm sure you could do that. And I'm sure there's plenty on the platform that could do that. Now, if you think about the direction I'm going in, now Sharon's going to give us some questions on the YouTube in a minute. But I'm saying, one more point. When I did a quick research, it said that 1 in 2 people get cancer.
Yeah.
1 in 2 people get cancer. So what is that statistic saying?
50% of the population.
Okay, now Brent, you did a little bit of research on heart disease. What was the percentage of heart disease?
So I got 10 health benefits of a vegan diet.
No. You're missing the point, Brent.
And it mentions lower cholesterol. Yeah.
Brent. So, what you said to me was that in terms of heart disease, 1 in 3 people will have heart disease.
So it mentions prevention. CDC reports that nearly 1 in 3 American adults has high cholesterol.
Okay.
When a person is at too much bad LDL cholesterol in his blood, it attaches to the inside of the walls of the vessels and builds up and causes plaque. This is the major risk factor for heart disease and stroke.
So my point is this: if 1 in 3 is going to get heart disease or cholesterol problems, and for cancer, 1 in 2 is going to get cancer, how much people are left?
Not many.
There's not a lot of people. So my point is, I'm going in the direction, we're talking about drugs. Now, inspiration says that drugs do not heal. Don't miss the point I'm saying. Drugs do not heal. And I'm throwing this out as a, because this is going to be the last thing that we're going to discuss today. I'm throwing it out as a discussion for the platform, not just for me and Brent. If drugs do not heal, then, and tell me if I'm wrong, you can all jump in and say, no, Edgar, you're wrong. They do. I want to hear what you have to say. But normally, when you go on some kind of medicine, normally you can be on that medicine for quite a long time. Am I wrong? I'm asking that question.
Sometimes for life, Edgar.
Sometimes for life, right. So if the drugs do heal, why are you on medication for the rest of your life? I'm throwing that out to the platform. I want some comments, because a lot of people are on medications. And in some cases, well, I don't know what else to do. I've got no choice. The doctors say I must take this medication. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not saying come off your medication. And I don't want anybody bringing me up and saying, "Oh, you said come off your medication." I'm saying, inspiration says that they do not heal, and it goes on even further and says it actually masks the actual problem that you're having. The drugs actually mask it, and the form is changed, and it moves somewhere else. So I'm putting this out as a discussion. This is going to be the last part of the discussion before we close. Is there any comments on
that? Whilst you're thinking of your comments, sorry, I just need to. Hi everyone. Whilst you're thinking of your comments, I've just gone onto Zoom. Well, there's quite a few comments from someone called Patricia on Zoom. So hi there, everyone on on YouTube. So we're not forgetting our friends on YouTube. So let me just, here we go. All right, so no, that's fine. So there's one says current, this is going back to the early discussions though. Current farming methods depletes foods, plant-based foods and foods stated in the Bible were unadulterated. Says here processed foods were not mentioned in the Bible. Depends on what you call processed foods, because it could be that you're talking, you know, manna was there and then it would be baked, it would be made into different things. Whether you call the fact that you're handling the food, you're processing it, I don't know. But then the processed food that we have now is like veggie this and veggie that, like veggie sausages, etc. Those weren't mentioned in the Bible, it says. Patricia also says the body tells you it's not happy, the inability to sleep, skin rashes, coughs, etc. But we don't always notice this, and the body keeps going on until it can't, and this is often too late. Cancers don't occur overnight. She also says that some illnesses are for God's glory to be shown, and we know that. And Peter had a thorn in his side, and this was not removed. Okay, sometimes we have a sickness to keep us in a certain place, so you know, we are maybe it's to keep us humble. I don't know. And then she also said that I think each of us have a particular body makeup that makes us susceptible to certain conditions. I don't know, maybe she's talking about allergies or intolerances. If we know what that is, it can help us reduce the effects, whether we're Christian or not. If we know what our body makeup is that makes us susceptible. So thank you very much, Patricia, for those comments. I don't know if anybody wants to comment on that. So there's so much to talk about now. You've got all of the questions Edgar posed, all of these on YouTube. So I'll hand you back over to Brent and Edgar. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. So I'm asking if anybody would like to make a comment on what I've just raised on drugs, the benefits of drugs, and on what we should do. I don't know. So at the moment, it doesn't seem like anybody's got any comments. Brent, have you got a comment? What do you think?
Well, I've got a testimony.
Okay, go ahead. I love testimonies. Go ahead.
Yeah, when I got my dad that was put on warfarin about 15 years ago, and it was due to irregular heartbeat.
What is warfarin? What's the
warfarin is a blood thinner.
What's it made from?
Well, it's actually one of the real interesting ingredients is there's a percentage of rat poison in warfarin.
Okay, so they're using rat poisoning to try and heal somebody.
Yeah.
And, wow. Okay, go ahead.
And you know, I don't know how they diagnosed it. Because of an irregular heartbeat, they thin the blood, but there's a lot of complications that come with it. So bruising, you bleed easily, and my dad was on this drug for many years, but he wasn't following the health message. So he wasn't eating that healthily. He wasn't very unhealthy, but he was having, quite a lot of butter, that type of thing. And that was affecting his arteries. They had artery buildup, but he wasn't supplementing with any magnesium. And if you're not following the right diet for magnesium, you need to supplement, and his arteries were clogging up. But he was on the warfarin for the amount of time the warfarin was keeping him alive, where he got to a stage where his arteries started to clog up. His one valve needed to be redone, fixed, or whatever the case. So he was told that he had to go to the doctors and he had to have a bypass. And he was at a stage where the doctors were said to him before the op, they said, you're 100% healthy, other than the fact that your arteries are now getting a bit clogged up, and it's becoming an issue. It's going to become an issue where the valve could just stop and you could have a heart attack. So, and I sat my dad down and I gave him an alternative to the op, and that would be to change his lifestyle, change his diet. And I put this before him, and he actually admitted he could see the benefits in what I was proposing, but because we live in an instant world, he decided he wasn't going to go for the op. And since the op, he's lost, I think, 15 to 17 kilos, and he hasn't put those kilograms back on again. And, you know, he's not the same dad I had before, you know. And the thing was that they were just keeping him alive long enough till they could then do the next step, which was to do the operation.
Sure.
All that was doing was treating the symptoms, and, you know, getting to a point where you know the next step was an operation. So yeah, so go back to your question, Edgar. It's just mainly a form of treating the symptoms and not the cause when it comes to a lot of medications today.
Okay. I've got a comment in the chat. James Kiri, I think. For infections, I think we need medication, antibiotics, because of bacteria in the body. So he's saying for infection, we need medication, antibiotics, because of the bacteria in the body. Natural antibiotics. No, he hasn't said that. Okay. There is natural antibiotics. Sometimes I'm not saying sometimes you don't need medical intervention, but I think that there's some things that we negate to do that God has given us that can make a big difference, and we choose not to use it. We choose not to use it. We go for the easy option because that's what we do.
Yeah, because we want everything fixed now. We want it done right away, don't we?
Yeah. And one point I missed out earlier was the leading cause of death at the moment in the UK is
Artery.
no, it's
Wasn't it heart disease?
Alzheimer's.
Oh,
Alzheimer's.
wow.
Dementia and Alzheimer's. Now that's very interesting, because what does Alzheimer's do? It's a disease that attacks the brain. When your brain is not working right, everything's gonna go in it. You know, you're gonna lose control, and that's it. That's the leading thing. A lot of people are dying from that. That's your seat. That's your seat of knowledge. That's your seat of thinking. That's your seat of deciding.
And am I correct in saying that a lot of the Alzheimer's is brought on due to diet, Edgar?
Well, I'm sure some is hereditary, but I don't think you can get away from diet plays a role, a part in people having Alzheimer's. I don't think you can dismiss that. It does. It's bound to. You eat every day. Some people say, "Well, I've got this disease, and I don't know where it's come from. It's just appeared from nowhere." How can that be? Disease is not brought on in an instant. It's a gradual progression.
Well, we had an amazing, sorry to interrupt, Edgar, we had an amazing testimony at church today where a young lady was giving a testimony from a diet perspective and embracing veganism. and she had a photograph up of her skin and before and after, and there was a marked difference between the allergies and the acne and whatever she had on the skin. It wasn't because of her age, it is due to her actual lifestyle changes. And she was also commenting about, you know, recovery, her joints, a lot of aspects, and how much better she feels vitality wise just by changing from her old to a new type of lifestyle. So
praise the Lord. That's good. That's very good. I think we are about at the end. I don't know if there's anything else that you want to bring up, Brent.
Not from my side, Edgar.
What I will say is, as kind of closing remarks, is I think you have, if you want whole health,
Edgar. Sharon. Edgar's dropped off. Sharon.
Hello.
Yes, Edgar's dropped off.
Okay.
You're not
Sorry,
with
I'm
him?
not sure. No, I'll just take my phone to him. I'm not sure what's gone off.
Yeah.
There you go.
oh, sorry.
Carry on from there.
Hello.
Carry on, Edgar.
Sound.
Yes, we can hear you.
Carry
Yes.
on, Brent.
I'm going to turn your camera on.
Can you just let him in? Actually.
Yes.
Hello.
Okay, you're back.
Yeah. Sorry about that. It just dropped out. Yes. So what I was saying is, we're kind of wrapping up now.
Give us the video there, Edgar. Video.
Say again?
Video.
Who?
Video. Can't see you.
Your camera.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Is that better?
Here we go.
Okay. My apologies. My internet just dropped out. We're wrapping up. But I just wanted you to consider this, that I think that your health and your spiritual life, for you to have true health, there has to be a connection. It can't just be physical health and only physical health, because they work together. That's a point. And I want to give you a Bible text. Jeremiah 8:22, and it talks about, is there a balm in Gilead? Is there a balm in Gilead? And I think that's a really, really interesting verse. Balm, you're talking about healing. In Gilead, he's talking about something that can promote healing. And my question to everybody is, what is that healing? I'm going to leave it out there. I'm saying it talks about a balm in Gilead. And I'm saying to you, what is that healing? Because everybody needs it. Everybody wants it. And people are seeking after it in different places with different things. Some people put their hope in, for example, going football and sitting being in the stands, cheering with the other supporters. And some people put it in something else, or something else, or something else. But I'm saying, what is the balm in Gilead?
What Bible text is that again, Edgar?
Jeremiah 8, verse 22. Jeremiah 8, verse 22.
Thank you.
And I'm going to leave it there. I hope all that's on the platform, you've enjoyed the discussion. We plan to do a few more like this. So, if you want to put a comment in the chat if you thought it's been good or not good, or you're not sure. You can put a comment. But I would like to do it again, and we look at different topics. So I hope you enjoyed it. Are you able to share your screen again, Brent? We could just go through the adverts again and so on, and then we're gonna close.
Okay.
Lock
There
this
we-
man.
Okay, there we go.
You don't need you can leave the disclaimer. That doesn't matter. So just move forward. Yeah, the talk was, we know what the talk was. Okay, so just to tell everybody again, we have 3 groups running on Telegram. We have a spiritual group. People can put in devotionals and talk about different things with regards to spiritual things. Please join the group. Quite a few people have joined. We have the men's group and the women's group. We've separated the groups so that for sensitivity, and women might want to talk about particular things, and men might want to talk about other things. But they're there that you can discuss health issues, health problems. You can get advice and encouragement on the other 2 spiritual groups. If you want to, you're welcome to join. Brent, you want to talk on that one?
Yes, so this is the up-and-coming event up at Kefenlee in Wales from the 29th of August to the 4th of September, where we've got a really good lineup of those following speakers that you can see on your screen. And what we'll be discussing is your mind and disease. And something that we've touched on today, wasn't it, Edgar, with regards to,
That's right. That's right.
How the mind is very powerful, and how that can actually affect your health and bring on disease. Detox and therapies. So they'll be running through various detox and therapies for the body. Cooking and demonstrations will be rolled out. Assessing your body chemistry. How to set up sanitariums, which will be, I'm sure, wonderful advice for those that want to get involved with medical missionary work. Herbs in practice. Not 100% sure what that's going to be about. That sounds quite interesting. Country living, physiotherapy, and then there's going to be health checks. And that's something that I gained benefit from with regards to finding out that I had these high levels of pesticides in my body, and that was one of those health checks that took place when I was at Kefenlee there. So it's £150 per adult with a 50% non-refundable deposit. Sharon, wanted you to say something?
Yes, I was just going to add that we are also taking weekend bookings at the moment now, as well as the full week. So just reminding individuals, if they can't make it for the whole week but would still like to come.
I mean, Thursday, Friday, yeah, or whatever, over the weekend. Okay, perfect. Thank you for that, Sharon. Then we've also got this quit smoking that it was going to be running, but we've been told that it's going to be postponed now. So this will be coming up again, which is going to be for those that want to have advice around quitting smoking, that you can maybe share with others, maybe that aren't in the church or aren't following God's advice, but they just want to look at a health aspect of quitting smoking. This will be coming up again, so please watch the space for this to be coming up soon again.
Right, I just want to thank everybody for their support, those that are on today, those that have been on previously, those that have given finances to support TTI. We want this to grow. We want to have more programs, and we even want to work on doing face-to-face programs as well in different places. This is something as a goal we're also working towards, having a website and different things. So if you can, if you'd like to give us a financial figure to help, please do. The account and the details are on the poster. And we also solicit your prayers, and we thank you for your support thus far. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's from all the group, from all the team. And hopefully we'll see you next week. You can come off screen, Brent. We want to thank the YouTube viewers as well. I'm sorry we didn't cover you as much as we would have liked. I think we're a little bit short-staffed today, but thanks for watching on YouTube, and look after yourself, and we'll see you soon. We're going to come off air very, very shortly, and thank you. Brent, have you got any closing words?
Yes, you know, just as best possible, try and follow those 8 health laws. As Colin said, stay centered to God, and you know, walk in faith. And yes, just thanks to everyone for logging on the call. Thanks for those that also took part and that gave their input. And yeah, have a blessed end to the Sabbath, and have a good weekend that's still to come.
Great. Okay, and that's my thing as well. And wish you all the best. Thanks for being here, and we will